Roll call.
Roll call for day 26, February 15th, 2023. Anderson? Here. Baldwin? Here. Barlow? Present. Beitman? Here. Boner? Bouchard? Here. Brennan? Here. Case? Present. Cooper? Here. Dockstetter? Here. Ellis? Present. French? Here. Murphy? Here. Garou? Here. Hicks? Here. Hutchings? Ide? Here. Jones? Here. Kinski? Here. Kolb? Present. Landon? Here. Larson? Here. McEwen? Here. Nethercott? Pappas? Here. Rothfuss? Here. Salazar? Here. Schuler? Here. Scott? Here. Steinmetz? Here. Boner? Excused. Hutchings? Excused. And Nethercott?
Excused.
President Driscoll?
Here.
Mr. President, 28 present, 3 excused.
Prayer by Father R. Joseph Collins, Holy Apostles, Orthodox Church in Cheyenne.
Let us pray to the Lord. Lord, have mercy. Heavenly King, Comforter, Spirit of truth, everywhere present and filling all things, treasury of good things and giver of life, come and abide in us and cleanse us of every stain. Save our souls, gracious Lord, and have mercy today upon the Senate President, our House members, and the Speaker of the House, on our governor, and all the people of Wyoming. Guide these men and women by your truth and according to your wisdom, that they may be open to reasonable debate and to the well-being of the people they represent, for you are glorious to the ages of ages. Amen.
Amen. Now we have a special one today. So we have a second prayer from Teresa Hess Chase, who is the Northern Arapaho businesswoman. And I think she's going to do an Arapaho prayer for us. Welcome and thank you.
Ina haho be sihi nanatana nanana ka seni be hinana e senana ka hito na senana. Good morning, everybody. My name is Teresa Chase. I'm a member of the Northern Arapaho Business Council. My Arapaho name is Singing Sage, and I'm glad to see all of you today. Thank you for inviting us and having us today. I'm going to go ahead and say a prayer in our Arapaho language, and I will pray for all of you, all of our families, so that you can make good decisions on behalf of all of the citizens in the state of Wyoming. And I look forward to working in a government-to-government basis with all of you in the future. Hinane kaho, nananan bahini sanana behen, nananan bahatehen, nanita wun haho na asin hina, hitha wuth jata nathan, na anabethan, nita hebe a, hawu nane a, chi ania habe a, henat nacha he an, chibatha he a, chibatha hena, henana tach nini nini, hena hasawa behithi kakotni na hena yahuna, hena nanathi, hachu nana, hantathi hutina hiwan haha, hani ahuna, hatichet nini na hatichet na asa. Basnanetana hawuna nina hati nasoko thi na tithi beniina na beniina sena hawuna nina hati hat naichka huthi na hatichet nini na hatichet na asa. Hina hasawa behithi kakotni na hina yahuna chipati hinana eti hatichet hinana yeti tani ne isini hanesniat nabati tani hati chiini jabisana nahusaha. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. We got one more special ceremony. This morning, we're joined by Chairman Lloyd Goggles, who was recently elected Chairman of the Northern Arapaho Business Council. Prior to his election, Chairman Goggles served the United States Marine Corps from 1996 to 1999 and the Wyoming Army National Guard from 2001 to 2005. After his years of service, Chairman Goggles served as law enforcement officer for the Bureau of Indian Affairs in the city of Thermopolis, and later as a judge for the Wind River Tribal Court. Fellow senators, please help me welcome Chairman Goggles to the Senate. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, President Driscoll. Members of the Senate, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to address you today on behalf of the Arapaho people. My name is Lloyd Goggles, and I'm the chairman of the Northern Arapaho Business Council. And with that, I bring you greetings from the Arapaho people. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here to address you. I come here to affirm ways to build a stronger relationship here and throughout the state with all of the people. And I believe in the spirit of neighbors, and having a strong collaboration, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't collaborate with a lot of people. So I just want to start off by saying, Aaron, as a people, we will always have and cherish our Arapaho culture and our way of life. People go throughout the world and see different cultures, and I think we're fortunate to have two, with the Arapaho and the Shushan, as well as all of the other individual cultures. That's a good friend of mine. He brought that to light about America in general and how we're full of cultures. And I believe that too. And aside from being an Arapaho, I am an American. And so it's good to have good friends like that. I say that because he's of my highest council too. So and so altogether, I served in the military, just like my dad and a lot of my great-grandfathers from World War II, Vietnam, and the Korean War. My oldest daughter, she's in the Navy right now, and I have an 8-year-old son, and I think he's probably going to want to go that way too. But it's kind of hard for me to see that. But I think with being from the background of warriors and peacemakers in my family, I think it's, I think that's a good combination, because we fight for what we love, and then we make peace with everything else in between. And I think the thing that it's important, with everyone here, and then as well as the governor, is that we have a lot of good members on the council, and we have the governor and all you folks who are I think it's a really good time to come together in these rooms. I always say that, when I got to the council, I was like, we're not always going to agree, and we're going to have our disagreements, but at the middle of it, we're going to find that mutual decision. And I may have to relent, other members may have to relent, but I believe that we have the right minds to make the best decisions that we can. Not for, it might not be in my lifetime, but it'll be for the future generations. I have a grandson, and I'm really not worried about myself. I'm worried about them. I want them to be good, and I want them to be good citizens. And so, I know there's been other council members here before. I don't know what's been said, but I myself, I like, getting to meet people, and I haven't met all of you, but like hopefully one day I'll meet you all and I get to know your names. I had a good friend named Ray Hunt. He was a master horseman, and he remembered everyone's names, no matter whether it was 40, 50 years ago. If you seen him, he would always address you by your first name. And so, like, if I could make it like Ray Hunt, I think I'd have it made, and remembering all these names. But I really appreciate this opportunity, and I thank you all for your time. Also, for all of the long hours that you spend, the long days, and it's a great effort, but great things come from great effort. And if you ever get the opportunity, I'd like to invite you up to the Wind River Indian Reservation. There's, like I said, it's a culture unto its own. I like to believe I'm a good representative of not just my people, but like all the people throughout the country. I have a lot on my shoulders. The Marine Corps, the National Guard, the state of Wyoming. I was born and raised here, served the state, and I love my neighbors. I love Wyoming, and I love George Strait. So thank you all. All right.
Thank you, Chairman Goggles. I've got a little gift for you, both of you. Wyoming loves its first people, and look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Senator Hick.
Chairman Goggles will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, we've got one more address. Yeah, we'll do that right now. Well, please, we'll do the pledge real quick.
Okay, let me see if I can remember the words. Okay, all right. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic in which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. We have one more very special guest this morning. This is prayer day, and our speaker from this morning, for those of you who weren't there, is Ann Beeler, who started Annie Aunt's Pretzels, which is probably the least of her accomplishments. She's got an unbelievable story, and I've asked her to say just a couple words to us. She's inspirational in her faith and what she's done, and if she's willing to step up and say a word or two, I would ask her to please do so. I'm very taken with her comments this morning. Thank you, and welcome, Ann, please.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ogden. And I'm honored to be here in your great state. I came in on Monday night and spent all day Tuesday with some of the wonderful people that are involved in your leadership and politics of Wyoming. And I'm very impressed with the incredible beauty of the state. And as I mentioned this morning at the prayer breakfast, the incredible beauty of the people. And what I feel here is family. I think it's because you're farmers. Okay, I know you're ranchers, I get it. I grew up on a farm, very small farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, but the sense of community, I really feel very strongly here with y'all. And just thank you for doing a good work here in Wyoming. And I wish that y'all would get a little bit bigger and like your influence would like spread all around, all across the state, this great country of ours, and take who you are and spread it around. I feel like being here for one day, I feel like the world, everything's fine. And thank you for what you're doing here in Wyoming, and a great honor to speak at the prayer breakfast this morning. Thank you very much for this honor. This is the very first time I've ever done this. And so you're never too old to like experience something for the first time. Bless you all.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Safe travels. Doctor of the day is Dr. Winters. Welcome, Dr. Winters. Thank you. Today in Wyoming history, on February 15th, 1921, Sublette County was created from Fremont and Lincoln counties, and Teton was split out of Lincoln County. Those were the last two counties in Wyoming to be formed. Also, on this day, the first school in Laramie opened. Quote for the day: "To build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness and not a threat to your position or authority." Christian Kane, another good one. Got a quick announcements for the joint conference chairman. When you folks are meeting, you need to schedule W110 for those meetings. And the House conference committees will be in 113. Please announce the meetings in advance because they want to Zoom those meetings. And that's important. People are watching pretty close, so make sure you schedule 110 and get it in your announcements. Messages from the House.
From the House of Representatives, February 14, 2023. Message number 337. Mr. President, the House did concur on Senate amendments to the following bills by the votes indicated. House Bill number 13, Office of Guardian Ad Litem, Program References, ayes 60, excused 2. Message number 342, House Bill number 18, Missing Person Alert Systems, ayes 61, excused 1. Message number 343, House Bill 20, Land Exchanges Notice, ayes 52, noes 9, excused 1. Message number 344, House Bill number 61, Source Material Associated with Mining Agreement, ayes 61, excused 1. House Bill number 181, Online Sports Wagering Amendments, ayes 62. February 14, 2023, message number 340. Mr. President, the House failed to concur on Senate amendments to the following bills by the votes indicated. House Bill 16, State Land Leasing Improvements, ayes 0, noes 61, excused 1. Message number 341. The House appointed House conferees to meet with a like committee number 1 from the Senate on amendments to House Bill 16. House conferees are Representative Crago, Chairman, Representative Eklund, Representative Tarver. Message number 345, concurrence failed. House Bill number 104, Hunting of Predatory Animals Amendments, ayes 1, noes 61. Conferees appointed, Joint Conference Committee number 1 on message 346. House conferees are on House Bill 104, Representative Haraldson, Chairman, Representative Crago, and Representative Newsom. Message number 335, concurrence failed. Mr. President, the House failed to concur on Senate amendments to House Bill 9, Juvenile Courts Concurrent Jurisdiction Clarification, ayes 0, noes 59, excused 3. Message number 336, conferees appointed, House-appointed conferees to meet with like committee on House Bill number 9, Representative Oakley, Chairman, Representative Provenza, and Representative Washut. Message number 338. Mr. President, House failed to concur on Senate amendments to House Bill number 14, Civil Case Filing Fees Amendments. Ayes 8, noes 53, excused 1. Message number 339, House-appointed conferees to meet with like committee number 1 on amendments to House Bill 14. House representatives are Representative Washut, Chairman, Representative Lawley, and Representative Sherwood. Message number 348, February 14, 2023. Mr. President, the House appointed House conferees to meet with a like committee number 1 from the Senate on amendments to Senate File 42. House conferees are Representative Harshman, Chairman, Representative Larson, Representative Yin. Sincerely, signed, Katie Talbot, House Chief Clerk.
Thank you. Concurrences, do we have some? Senator Steinmetz,
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good senators up in the balcony in front of us, I'd like to introduce the FFA chapter that came in from across the state. They're not just a chapter, but representatives from across the state that were at our Education Committee meeting this morning to testify on the CTE bill. And then also FCCLA CJ Toner, State Officer representing the Glen Rock chapter. We also had the Skills USA folks with us, and I don't see all of them, but would you give them a hearty Senate welcome? Welcome to the Senate.
Here, here. Senator Ellis,
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to piggyback off that with privilege of the floor, if I may.
granted.
We also, in addition, have the FBLA Vice President Alexis Dockin of the Cheyenne chapter. And then just, I'm looking at a note here, the FFA officer team and state advisor Stacy Broda. The officers are from Laramie, Albany, Johnson, Goshen, and Fremont County. So one more time, let's just really make sure they feel really, really welcome here.
Long live FFA. Senator Schuler, if you're ready on message number 328, requesting concurrence on Senate File 41, I will have it read in, please.
Message number 328, referencing Senate File 41, skill-based amusement games, authorized locations.
Senator Schuler. Oh, I turned on Senator Ellis, excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move concurrence on message number 328 and ask you to vote aye. This is a concurrence on the skill-based amusement games, authorized locations. During, I guess, discussion on the other side of the the other side of the hall, there was a desire to amend the truck stop definition in the Senate file back to the, actually almost to the original bill, with just the exception of a higher amount of gallons. So even though the existing bill has a grandfather provision for existing locations, for any new truck stop locations, there would have to be an average volume of 125,000 gallons of diesel. So this would pretty much limit it to I-80 types of truck stops. And so we would ask you to vote aye on this.
Questions? Senator Kolb.
Thank you, Mr. President. A question about the 125,000 gallons of diesel. Is that annually, monthly? I guess that's the question I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Further questions? Senator Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be voting no. We had this discussion about setting the definition on the amount of gallons that a truck stop sells. I think if we wanted to figure out a better way, you know, certainly we could tie it to closer to proximity to one of our interstates. But this was an amendment that we considered, something similar to it. We defeated it, so it is inconsistent with how the body has voted. For those reasons, I'll be a no.
Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, we did talk quite a bit in our committee about whether to up the number of gallons, and this basically is on an average of how many gallons they sell each month, and they also base it on their previous 12 months of sales. We actually looked at jumping down a little bit, and I think this might allay some of the concerns that came up that we didn't really want the possibility of convenience stores to have these. So by upping it to 125,000 gallons, that really takes the convenience stores out of the thing, and I think it really makes the bill a better bill. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion is that the Senate do concur on Senate File 41, and you vote aye. Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Concurrence vote, Senate File 41. Roll call, Anderson. Aye. Baldwin. Aye. Barlow. Aye. Beitman. Aye. Boner. Aye. Bouchard. Aye. Brennan. No. Case. Aye. Cooper. Aye. Stockstetter. Aye. Ellis. No. French. Aye. Furphy. Aye. Guru. Aye. Hicks. No. Hutchings. No. Ide. No. Jones. Aye. Kinski. Aye. Kolb. No. Landon. Aye. Larson. No. McEwen. Aye. Nethercott. No. Pappas. Aye. Rothfuss. Aye. Salazar. Aye. Schuler. Aye. Scott. No. Steinmetz. No. President Driscoll.
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 41, 21 aye, 10 no.
Thank you. We'll note too, everybody's here now for our excused absence, if we can fix that. So we've got joint conference committee reports. We're going to assign some committees. On concurrence failed on message 335 on House Bill 9. Joint Conference Committee number 1 on House Bill 9 is Nethercott Chair, Senator Landon and Senator Kinski. Yes, the catch title. I don't have the catch title, I don't think. That's all right. Juvenile Courts Concurrent Jurisdiction Clarification. Joint Conference Committee 1 on House Bill 104, which was hunting of predatory animals amendments. Conference Committee will be Senator Boner Chair, Senator Schuler, Senator Case. Joint Conference Committee 1 on House Bill 16, which was state land leasing improvements. Chairman Hicks, Senator Scott, and Senator Barlow. Joint Conference Committee number 1 on House Bill 14, which was civil case filing fees amendments. What? 104, thank you. 104, oh, it says 114 here, I'll fix that. No, it says 14, Bill 14, House Bill 14, 104 on. I did 104, I think. We're Joint Conference Committee number 1 on House Bill 14. Case Chairman, Senator Brennan and Senator Kolb. Senator Scott.
Mr. President, on,
You're a conflict.
yeah, House Bill 60, I'm a conflict. Can you find somebody else for that conflict?
I'm willing to do so. I thought you had expertise and could do it with being a conflict. I will change that right now. You've got pretty good expertise, and so we will replace Scott on Joint Conference number 1 on House Bill 16 to Senator Steinmetz. Thank you. Reports from standing committees.
February 14, 2023. Mr. President, Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred House Bill 229, engrossed, electronic payment of sales and use taxes, respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Anderson, Guru, Kinski, and Nethercott. No, Senator Salazar. Senator Kinski, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred House Bill 100, engrossed, Acquisition Value Study. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Anderson, Guru, Kinski, Nethercott, and Salazar. Senator Kinski, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred House Bill 118, engrossed, Volunteer Firefighter Pension Funding. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Anderson, Guru, Kinski, and Nethercott. No, Senator Salazar. Senator Kinski, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred House Bill 188, engrossed, wolf depredation compensation. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators French, Hicks, Ide, Kolb, and Steinmetz. Senator Steinmetz, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred House Bill 180, engrossed, brucellosis testing notification requirements. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators French, Hicks, Ide, Kolb, and Steinmetz. Senator Steinmetz, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred House Bill 195, engrossed, American Rescue Plan Act Appropriations Amendments. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Anderson, Kinski, and Nethercott. Noes, Senators Guru and Salazar. Senator Kinski, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred House Bill 22, engrossed, State Land Lease Deficiencies Cure Process. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators French, Hicks, Ide, Kolb, and Steinmetz. Senator Steinmetz, Chairman. February 15, 2023, Mr. President, Committee Number 10, Labor, Health, and Social Services, to whom is referred House Bill 127, engrossed, Healthcare Facilities and Clergy. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Baldwin, Barlow, Bouchard, Dockstader, and Hutchings. Senator Baldwin, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 10, Labor, Health, and Social Services, to whom is referred House Bill 165, Living Organ Donor Protection. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Baldwin, Barlow, Bouchard, Dockstader, and Hutchings. Senator Baldwin, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 1, Judiciary, to whom is referred House Bill 101, Uniform Trust Code Amendments. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Case, Cooper, Furphy, Landon, and Schuler. Senator Landon, Chairman.
Thank you, Randy. Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask that House Bill number 188, wolf depredation compensation, be referred from Ag Committee number 5 to Appropriations number 2 because there is money involved.
Without objection, so ordered. We read in the journal report, please.
Mr. President, your Journal Committee reports that the Journal of February 14, 2023 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Senator Larson, Chairman.
Any objections? Being none, report is adopted. Bills on second reading. House Bill 96, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 96, engrossed, Transfer on Death Deed Insurance Coverage.
House Bill 96, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 106, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 106, Eminent Domain Wind Energy Collector Systems.
House Bill 106 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 142, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 142 engrossed, notice of annexation.
House Bill 142 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 213, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 213 engrossed, energy production inventory exemption.
House Bill 213 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. There is amendment. I saw amendments, and I don't have any on my desk. Okay, we have an amendment. Please have the amendment read in.
House Bill 213, second reading amendment number 1 to engrossed copy, page 2, line 2, after.
Senator Jones.
Mr. President, I move second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 213 and ask for your favorable consideration. Basically, this is pretty simple. It's just giving a time frame of how long the materials can be stored before Wyoming sales or use tax is due.
Thank you. Further discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none. Voting on second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 213. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 213 has passed the Senate. We have his next amendment read in, please.
House Bill 213, second reading amendment number 2 to engrossed copy, page 2, line 8, after.
Senator Beitman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll withdraw second reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 213.
Without objection. Withdrawn. Last amendment, Randy.
House Bill 213, second reading amendment number 3 to engrossed copy, delete.
Senator Landon.
Mr. President, thank you very much. I would move third reading amendment, second reading amendment number 3 to House Bill 213. Fellow senators, I want to thank you for your indulgence and patience. We have laid this bill back a couple of times, tracking, some of the concerns that were expressed during committee of the whole. I have been working with our county commissioners and others to see if we can't put some necessary sideboards on this bill and put it in a little better spot, Mr. President. This is a bill and an issue, a policy decision that's been around for the last 4 or 5 years. You might remember that we actually, here in the Wyoming Senate, believed in this issue and passed a bill. It was not accepted by the governor. It had some difficulties to it. I think this amendment, hopefully you will agree that it gets us back to where I think this bill would put us in position to land this on dry ground. Mr. President, what this amendment does, it ensures that the property tax exemption only applies to storage, not construction. It limits the property tax exemption to 1 calendar year, which mirrors the language in the amendment brought by my friend from Sweetwater County. It constrains things so that someone's not claiming an exemption for property randomly stored, and it requires the Department of Revenue to execute some rulemaking. Mr. President, that's a quick rundown. I'd be happy to go line by line through this amendment, but I think it accomplishes some things that allows us to be in a better position to land this bill. And so I'll sit for now and be glad to have a discussion on the amendment. Thank you.
Questions on the amendment? Questions on the amendment? Seeing none. We're voting on second reading amendment number 3 to House Bill 213. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendment is passed. We're back on the bill. House Bill 213, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be heard a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 239, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 239, vehicle idling decriminalization.
House Bill 239 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a 3rd time? Seeing no objection, it is so ordered. Bills on 3rd reading. Mr. Chairman, do we have a consent list? Mr. Majority Floor Leader, excuse me, do we have a consent list?
Mr. President, we do have a consent list. Mr. President, I move House Bill 21, State Lands Use of Land Qualification Requirements, House Bill 79, Voter ID, Concealed Carry Permit, House Bill 175, Excused Absence State Fair Events.
Anybody like any of these bills removed from the consent list? Having been read 3 separate times, the question is, shall these bills pass the Senate? House Bill 21, State Lands Use of Land Qualification Requirements, House Bill 79, Voter ID, Concealed Carry Permit, and House Bill 175, Excused Absence State Fair Events. Chief Clerk will call the roll.
3rd reading consent list. Anderson. Baldwin. Barlow. Beitman. Boner. Bouchard. Brennan. Case. Cooper. Dockstader. Ellis. French. Murphy. Guru. Hicks.
Aye.
Hutchings. Ide. Jones. Kinsky.
Aye.
Kolb. Landon. Larson. McEwen. Nethercott. Pappas. Rothfuss. Salazar. Schuler. Scott. Steinmetz. President Driscoll.
Aye.
On the consent list, 31 aye. House Bill 21, are there any changes? Scott? Scott, conflict.
Driscoll, conflict.
Driscoll, conflict. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 21, 29 aye, 2 conflict. House Bill 79, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 79, 31 aye. And House Bill 175, are there any changes? Case? Aye to no. Ellis, no. Nethercott, no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 175, 28 aye, 3 no.
Having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members elected to the Senate, House Bill 21, State Lands Use of Land Qualification Requirements, House Bill 79, Voter ID, Concealed Carry Permit, and House Bill 175, Excused Absence State Fair Events, has passed the Senate. Bills on 3rd reading. House Bill 7, 3rd reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 7, engrossed. Underage marriage amendments sponsored by Representative Zwanitzer, an act relating to domestic relations.
There is amendments. Could we have the amendment read in, please? Senator Case. Senator Bouchard.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that that's held back one day.
Without objection. So ordered. Thank you. Appreciate it. House Bill 65, third reading of the House bill. Oh, you want this?
House Bill 65 engrossed, 988 suicide prevention, sponsored by the Revenue Committee, an act relating to suicide prevention.
There are amendments. Can we have the amendments read in, please?
House Bill 65, third reading amendment number 1 to engrossed copy, page 15, line 13, delete.
Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would move third reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 65, ask for the body's favorable consideration. Members, this is a technical correction referencing the federal law, which was passed in 2020, not 2022, and signed by the 45th President of the United States. I ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you, Mr. President.
Question being called. We're voting on third reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 65. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Third reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 65 has passed the Senate. We have another amendment. Can we have it read in, please?
House Bill 65, third reading amendment number 2 to engrossed copy, page 15, line 20, in.
Senator Case, no props on the floor.
Excuse me, I got carried away, Mr. Brief privilege.
Privilege,
before.
granted.
You know, our good Colorado Rockies are in the Cactus League, and so are the Chicago White Sox, which is a favorite team of mine, and that may be proper nouns, but tough. Cactus League baseball started today with the report of the pitchers and catchers, and do you know that Senator Beitman was college ball player, so he is, he's got way more experience than me. He should have this, but I've done pitchers and catchers report for 30 years, Mr. President, and I'm glad we're finally seeing the end of this. Spring training's on its way. And now I have a motion.
Proceed. That was a very unusual privilege in the middle of third, but we'll grant it.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move third reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 65 and ask for favorable consideration. This relates to the program that we created in second reading regarding donations. And it was pointed out to me that in order to track donors, we have to have the ability to have tax exempt capability, which you think of as being a 501c3, Mr. President. And of course, our state agencies are not tax exempt entities. So this would allow our state agency to work with charitable tax exempt entities to provide an ability to receive funds, and people would be able to get their tax advantage for that. That's the first part of the amendment. The second part, the lines, page 15, line 20, that's simply housekeeping. We actually don't have a joint interim appropriations committee. They're joint appropriations committee. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. President.
Any questions? Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a friendly amendment. I appreciate my good colleagues' work on it.
Perfect. Question being called. Voting on third reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 65. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Third reading amendment number 2 to House Bill 65 has passed the Senate. Senator Jones.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Granted.
You talked about teams this morning, and I have a great one. I want to introduce my husband, Taylor Jones, who's with us today.
Here, here. Welcome, Taylor. House Bill 65, 988, suicide prevention, having been read 3 separate times. The question is, shall the bill pass? Chief Clerk will call the roll.
House Bill 65, third reading roll call. Anderson? Aye. Baldwin? Aye. Barlow? Aye. Beitman? No. Boner? Aye. Bouchard? No. Brennan? No. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Dockstetter? Aye. Ellis? Aye. French? No. Furphy? Aye. Garou? Aye. Hicks? No. Hutchings? No. No. Ide? No. No. Jones?
Aye.
Aye. Kinsky? Aye. Aye. Cole?
No.
No. Landon? Aye. Larson? No. McEwen?
No.
No. Nethercott? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? No. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? No. President Driscoll?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 65, 19 aye, 12 no.
House Bill 65, 988, suicide prevention, having received the affirmative vote of the majority members elected to Senate, House Bill 65 has passed the Senate. Mr. Majority Floor Leader, we're at that order of business, consideration of bills on general file.
Mr. President, I move the Senate resolve itself into committee of the whole.
Senator Hutchings, please come forward and run the body.
So kind. All right. Appreciate it. The Senate will please come to order. No. Except for you. The first bill for our consideration, it will be House Bill number.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
Madam Chairman?
Yes. Senator Hicks.
We are moving so fast, Madam Chairman. I would request that we stand at ease to the sound of the gavel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess we can vote on that or just stand at ease.
Yeah.
Without any objection, we'll stand at ease. Thank you. Senator Wright.
I know, I saw it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I wrote it down.
Deuce up in the
Call the roll.
The first House bill for our consideration is House Bill 44. The reading clerk will please read the House bill.
House Bill 44, Road and Bridge Construction Alternative Contracting, sponsored by the Transportation Committee, an act relating to highways. It was referred to Committee Number 8, which returned a committee recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Boner, Brennan, Furphy, Kolb, and Pappas. Senator Boner, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the bill. What is your pleasure, Senator Boner?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I move that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report, do so with a favorable recommendation on House Bill 44. To explain the bill, I refer to Senator Pappas.
Senator Pappas?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Fellow senators, this bill comes to you from the Joint Transportation Highway Military Affairs and Interim Committee. It's a great little bill, one that will help WYDOT in many ways. So this bill provides for the Transportation Commission to be able to use alternative contracting methods, and it also allows for rulemaking. So many of our other state agencies, such as our State Construction Department and others, already have this capability, and these alternative methods are already in statute. What this does, it gives WYDOT the same tools as these other agencies have in the contract procurement arena. So the issue at hand is the Transportation Committee is right now only authorized to award projects to the lowest responsible bidder for highway or construction, for horizontal or highway construction. That's the only method that's in their statute in 24.2. The Federal Highway Administration encourages states to consider the use of alternate contracting methods for reasons on specialty or unique projects. Some projects are multi-phase projects, and so there's other methods that help in expediting project implementation, could also help streamline costs and improve outcomes. So these methods, while not used, mostly will still be using the design bid build. However, there's unique situations when these alternate construction methods are available, and those would be design build, construction management at risk, construction agency, sometimes it's multiple prime contracts, or even a simple IDIQ contract, which is an indefinite delivery contract. So those are available for other agencies, but not for WYDOT. So if you look, the meat of the bill, really on page 2 and 3, there's some conforming language, but the meat of the bill is on page 4, if you'll turn to that page 4 with me. So if you see in the middle of the page, there's a new paragraph. So we're creating a new subsection of Wyoming Statute 24.2.108, which is the professional services procurement section for WYDOT. You'll see that the commission may use alternate design and construction delivery methods as defined in statute 16.6.701. That's all this bill simply does. It allows another tool in the quiver for WYDOT. Again, they will continue to use the design bid build method for, I would say, 95% of the projects, because that's actually a proven method. But there are unique projects out there that would require the use of these alternate procurement methods. And so this allows WYDOT to do that. You'll see in section 2, we're going to allow rulemaking. And in section 3, we're going to let that rulemaking begin immediately. And then the act will be effective October 1, 2003. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. Any questions? Any discussion? Sensing is no further discussion, all in favor of Senator Boner's motion that when the committee of the whole rises to report, that it do so with a favorable recommendation of House Bill 44, say aye. Those opposed, no. House Bill 44 has passed the committee of the whole. The next bill for your consideration is House Bill 174. Madam Clerk, will please read the bill.
House Bill 174 engrossed Homestead exemption amendments, sponsored by Representative Andrew, an act relating to the Code of Civil Procedure. It was referred to Committee Number 3, which returned a committee recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Beitman, French, Ide, McEwen, and Pappas. Senator Beitman, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the House bill. What is your pleasure, Senator Beitman?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move that when the committee of the whole rises to report, it do so with a do pass recommendation of House Bill 174. And for an explanation of the bill, I'll turn it over to the good Senator, I think McEwen. You up? All right, Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's actually a pretty simple bill. It's aimed at a couple things. I'll try to be brief. Basically, what it does is it allows for an exemption if somebody gets in trouble with unsecured debt or through an S Corp or an LLC. Right now, if you form an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, there's some protections in there, supposedly, to protect your personal assets. However, most loans, when they're set up, include a personal guarantee. What this does is allow for relief on that personal guarantee for unsecured debt. When I say unsecured debt, what am I saying? If you take a mortgage out on your home, the house itself is the security for that, so it doesn't get you out of paying your mortgage. What it does do is protect you from some of the state laws we have now and how they conflict with federal tax statutes. So, for example, if you form a C Corp, your income doesn't matter. You're at a set higher tax rate. And the reason people form those corporations is to protect their personal assets. So what this does is it's allowing for $100,000 per individual on the mortgage to be protected if the business or some other unsecured debt goes south. So if there are two people in the house, it would be $200,000. It's really kind of pretty simple, and I will stand by for questions. Thank you.
Any discussion? Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just curious to know how this works in probate and/or bankruptcy.
Senator Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. How will this affect the ability you have to use that as security on a loan if you're saying it's excluded from said ability to use it as security? Is that going to have a negative effect for people trying to use it for that purpose? Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. To that question in testimony in committee from the banking community indicated that it would probably, for those who are seeking to use their home for collateral on a loan, having rough, $200,000 excluded would probably cause bankers to not give loans in that situation. So it may backfire on the folks looking for loans. And one point that was also made in committee, this $20,000 was put in, I believe they said 2012, 10 years ago. And so the amount that this increase is 500%. Okay. The body on the other side, the original bill had no limit. Okay. The body on the other side put in $50,000. But then it was changed to $100,000 on the floor over there. So it was at 250% when it came out of committee, and it's at 500% now. While I agree we need to keep up with times and maybe 20,000 is a little low, the testimony was they thought 500% was too much in 10 years. Just giving you some background on the testimony.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. Senator Ide?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was some good testimony yesterday. There's like 7 states that don't have, it's like Florida and the white Bronco story down there. There's some issues with that, but they're very rare. 7 states don't have a limit on it. They talked about, it was originally $10,000 like in the late 1800s after statehood, and adjusted for inflation, it would be around $300,000, a little over $300,000 now if we just adjusted it for inflation from a long time ago. And I think that they tried to find a balanced compromise in here from inflation adjusted 300,000 or nothing at all, and settle on something that looked like would be palatable to the body. So that's where they ended up with $100,000 on and for the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ide. Senator Nethercott? Senator Ellis, she's going to concede.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I realize that a colleague of mine may have worked on this bill, so to avoid the appearance of a conflict, I will be declaring a conflict on this bill.
Senator McEwen?
Just clarify a few questions. I'll have to get back with you on probate. I'm not sure what that really would look like. As far as using the home for security, if you enter into an agreement with a bank and you offer it up as collateral, you will forego the exemption and the house will be used as collateral. What this bill does is protect you from business dealings and other dealings with unsecured debt where your home and your personal assets are not pledged against it. So it just thickens the veil, makes it harder to penetrate it so that you don't have to be so careful. We could talk for hours on putting a hole in a corporate veil and what it means tax-wise and what it means otherwise. But at the end of the day, it's not going to change your ability to get a loan. And if you want to pledge your home or other assets for that loan and you sign it, then the home is put up. What it does alleviate is the personal guarantee on a business, which allows them to come immediately after your personal assets too. So we're trying to avoid that. The other thing I'd like to make up or bring up is talking to a lot of the bankers and having done some business in my life. If a banker is looking at a loan and this is a decision factor, you're probably not going to get the loan anyway. A very good banker doesn't necessarily look just at assets and liabilities. The biggest thing they're looking for is your ability to pay it back. So if you have a sound business plan, I think you're not going to have problems getting a loan. If you need to pledge your assets to get the loan, you still have that ability. But what this does is protect the outside stuff from coming in and once again, piercing that corporate veil coming after your personal assets. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator McEwen. Senator Nethercott?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just a couple more questions. I'm going to get back to me on the probate piece. The history of the homestead exemption and why it came into being, I think would be helpful too to understand this amount. Concerning inflation, I don't think as an appropriate analysis when it comes to the value of money, but rather the value of real property. And so when you're looking at what a individual that would be protected from the amount of a creditor taking on a primary residence would be the exemption amount. And so when we look at the values of properties across our state, particularly rural Wyoming, how many houses are worth $300, $400, $500, $600,000 for those protections. And so that's where you heard probably that testimony in committee concerning concerns from the bankers where it could backfire, particularly for those individuals who may file for bankruptcy or who are seeking other type of creditor protections, that they would not be able to avail themselves of credit as readily because of this homestead exemption, because the creditor or the bank would not be able to recover a significant value of the property because there's a protection of $100,000 of the debtor. So I do think it requires some caution, and I'm not sure that this dollar amount came to maybe as thoughtfully as should be considered, recognizing the harm that it could cause to those individuals who would be in that type of a housing bracket that need access to credit.
Is there any further, discussion? Senator Beitman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. On the probate question, this bill doesn't change any of that. The current law is the current law. And I think if you look at, let's see, 120, 103, homestead exemption, right of family survivors. When any person dies seized of a homestead, leaving as a survivor a widow, husband, or minor children, the survivor is entitled to the homestead. If there is no such survivor, the homestead is liable for the debts of the decedent. So that takes care of that. What this bill does, originally when I co-signed it, it was to strike the dollar amount and just protect the whole homestead. That was amended out in the House. They came up with a dollar amount. They settled on $100,000. We figured that was the landing place that nobody was really happy with, which is a sign that we are all compromising, and that's where we're at. If this bill were to not pass, the current exemption is still $20,000. This has been in place since 1886. The original dollar amount was $10,000 in 1886. Adjusted for inflation, that is $315,000. So those of us that wanted to get rid of the whole, just not put a dollar value on it, we conceded to a compromise with $100,000. This needs to be raised. $20,000 is too low. We think, I guess, $100,000 is probably where this thing's going to land. So that's the backstory on that, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Beitman. Any other discussion? All right. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of Senator Beitman's motion that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report, it do so with a favorable recommendation of House Bill 174, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. House Bill 174 has passed the Committee of the Whole. Senator Hicks.
Madam Chairman, I move the Committee of the Whole beg leave and rise to sit again.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
I think we're early, so. Senator Kinski, would you come to the desk? I got concurrence of mine. Concurrence of mine, she'll give you the script. Okay. Script for it now.
Senator Driscoll, are you ready on message number 332, requesting concurrence on Senate File 176? Reading clerk, please read in the message.
Message number 332, referencing Senate File 176, Solid Waste Disposal Districts Consolidation.
Senator Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for concurrence on message number 322 on Senate File 176 and ask the body for your favorable consideration. I would ask you to vote yes on this, folks. This is a bill of mine that was solid waste disposal districts. The folks on the other side of the building added an amendment to it that actually strengthens the bill a whole bunch. It says we'd made it where they could put them together, and the county commissioners voted on whether to combine these solid waste districts. This one says that before they can go to the county commissioners, the districts involved have to agree that they're going to do it to start with, which is just a good common sense amendment. With that, I'd stand for questions, ask you to vote for aye on the concurrence. It's rare that we agree this easily with them.
Discussion? Discussion. Hearing none, the motion is that Senate do concur on Senate File 176, and the request is you vote aye. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Concurrence roll call vote, Senate File 176. Anderson? Aye. Baldwin? Aye. Barlow? Aye. Beitman? Aye. Boner? Aye. Bouchard? Aye. Brennan? Aye. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Dockstetter? Aye. Ellis? Aye. French? Aye. Furphy? Aye. Guru? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? Aye. Ide? Aye. Jones? Aye. Kinsky?
Aye.
Aye. Cole? Aye. Landon? Aye. Larson? Aye. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? Pappas? Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? Aye. Nethercott? Aye. President Driscoll?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 176, 31 aye.
By your vote, you have concurred on message number 332 on Senate File 176.
Do we have reports to read in? Okay.
February 15, 2023. Mr. President, Committee Number 4, Education, to whom is referred House Bill 27, School Facilities Consolidated Remediation Schedule. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Beitman, Brennan, Rothfuss, Scott, and Steinmetz. Senator Scott, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 4, Education, to whom is referred House Bill 31, engrossed, BOCES as local education agencies. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Brennan, Rothfuss, and Scott. No, Senators Beitman and Steinmetz. Senator Scott, Chairman. Mr. President, Committee Number 4, Education, to whom is referred House Bill 33, engrossed, School Finance Career Technical Education Grants. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended.
Senator Scott.
Mr. President, House Bill 33, School Finance Career Technical Education Grants, it was just read in, has an appropriation in it, and I ask it be re-referred to Committee Number 2.
Without objection, so ordered. Andy, we done? Okay, thank you. Mr. Majority Floor Leader, that clears the desk.
Mr. President, I move the Senate stand in recess until 2 p.m.
Are there any announcements? Mayor Baldwin.
Just a quick reminder that at 12 o'clock, there will be an informational meeting in room 6 of the connector concerning fentanyl. Everything you know, don't know, want to know, or need to know. Please attend.
Thank you. Senator Case.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to remind all the pitchers and catchers to get down to Arizona and start reporting in. And I'd also have a committee announcement. Your committee number 7 will meet tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll take up in the following order: House Bill 284, Collection Agency Regulation Debt Buyers. That's supposed to be a quick bill. And then we'll go to a bill that we left open, House Bill 134, engrossed alcohol sales to licensees. Then the next one will be House Bill 148, airport liquor licenses amendments. And then House Bill 144, engrossed senior citizen district programs and services. Then House Bill 279, voter identification requirements, if time permits, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee number 8, Transportation, Highways, Military Affairs will meet upon adjournment today in Capitol Room, Extension Room W2 and online to consider House Bill 59, Wyoming National Guard tuition benefits, House Bill 38, Wyoming National Guard member referral, House Bill 56, Purple Star Schools, and House Bill 67, special license plate decals, women veterans.
Thank you. Senator Doc Slater.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee 9 Minerals will meet during the noon recess, Room 4, and online in the Capitol Extension. Here, House Bill 42, engrossed off-road recreational vehicle operation. House Bill 62, open banking. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Biden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee number 3, Revenue, will meet tomorrow, Thursday, February 16th, upon noon recess in Capitol Extension Room W6 and online to hear the following 2 bills: House Bill 103, Political Party Affiliation Declaration and Changes, and House Bill 98, engrossed property tax homeowners exemption. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee number 6, Travel, Recreation, Wildlife, and Cultural Resources will meet tomorrow morning, 8:00 a.m. In Capitol Extension W2 and online. We will continue to hear more testimony on House Bill 99, Property Tax Refund Program, House Bill 123, Collection of Antler or Horns by Residents and Non-Residents, House Bill 276, Shed Antlers and Horns Conservation Stamp, and if we have time, House Bill 74, Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Trust Fund.
Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, will meet Thursday, February 16th upon adjournment in Capitol Room W2 and online to consider the following bills: House Bill 17, State Lands Grazing of Non-Owned Livestock carried over from the 14th, and House Joint Resolution 3, Wild Horses and Burros Best Management Practices. And if you would mark your calendars for the event you've all been waiting for, on February 28th at 1 p.m. in room W4, we will have our annual forest health briefing with the National Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management.
Thank you. One last one, Joint Conference Committee number 1 on House Bill 1 will meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the Joint Appropriations Room to walk through the final report. So we'll all be there at 9 tomorrow morning to do that. Very good. With that, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Senate will stand recessed until 2 p.m.